Wait for it, guys. Wait. And now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Adamsaurus Music Review. It is 5 o'clock, and it's time to shop, shop, shop. Wait. No, that's not what I do on this channel. I do music reviews. That's right. So, I guess it's time for another music review, and today I decided to discuss an album that came out earlier this year that I haven't gotten around to yet. The new Demon Hunter album, Outlive. For those of you that don't know who Demon Hunter is, they're a Christian metal band from Seattle, Washington, who is... They were... Well, I guess they kind of still are a Christian metal supergroup made up of members of late 90s, early 2000s Christian metal and rock bands such as Embodiment, Poor Old Lou, Training for Utopia, and the lineup has shifted over the years to include members of The Showdown, Project A6, and other well-known bands from the Christian metal scene. Outlive is their 8th full-length album, and one that I was pretty interested in when I heard it was coming out, especially considering it was crowdfunded, though it was still released through their perennial record label, Solid State Records, which is a branch of Tooth and Nail. Someday I'll maybe make a video on my love of Tooth and Nail and Solid State Records. Maybe. But, back on topic here, I wanted to review this sooner. I was actually going to do this the month it came out, but I am incredibly lazy and I had college stuff to do. So now that I'm done with college, I'm just like, yeah! Review this thing! So, here's... I guess I should go into my history with Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter is very special to me because they are the first, like, heavy band I got into. Like, I listened to, like, Skillet, 1000 Foot Crutch, Disturbed, Rob Zombie, stuff that's heavy, but not like really heavy. Not that Demon Hunter's that much heavier than that, but they're the first band with really harsh vocals I ever really liked. So I might be a bit biased on this, so let me just say that first. I'll start with the music as usual. The music on this album feels slightly less aggressive than it did on their earlier releases. It's still heavy, but it feels more brooding than aggressive. It's not quite doom metal, but it's not quite as aggressively in your face as some of their other albums like Storm the Gates of Hell or Triptych or any of their earlier albums like that. So if that's what you're looking for, you may be sorely disappointed. There aren't too many songs that are fast or thrashy on this. The vocals are more clean on this one as well. There's not as much use of Ryan Clark's harsh vocals, and he's got a really nice, pretty baritone voice anyway, so that's not really something I'd be complaining about. That's just me. And I think his clean singing actually fits the tone of Outlive a bit more than previous albums. It's lyrically... Demon Hunter's always been a band that I thought was very good lyrically, always really poetic and enjoyable. The lyrical themes on this seem to have like a metaphorical theme of cold, death, and loss, which seem to be like not in every song necessarily, but it pops up more than once, and you'll notice as you listen that those themes are used both as metaphors to talk about spiritual themes. The lyrics are very poetic and have a lot of beautiful work, something that I feel like a lot of metal bands sorely lack. I'm looking at you, Cannibal Corpse. But I think the only really bad thing about this album is it doesn't have quite as much aggression. But I'll talk about that in my final thoughts. I want to talk about the artwork a little bit. If you guys can see that, it's your pretty standard Demon Hunter album. It's the Demon Hunter skull horns, and it has like almost like a gothic etching kind of thing going for it. It's cool and all, but I don't know. The only really good Demon Hunter album covers, in my opinion, not that they're bad, but the ones I think are best, rather, are the ones that were done by Dan Seagraves. Again, maybe I'll do a video on him someday. I really like his album art style, and some of the album's covers he's responsible for are some of my favorites. Absolutely fantastic. But other than that, that's really all I have to say. My final thoughts here, It's an enjoyable album by one of my favorite bands. It's more dark and brooding, almost a gothic sense to it, more so than their aggressive in-your-face sense, which is a bit disappointing for me personally, because I was really a fan of their previous album, Extremist. But it's not necessarily a bad album, but if you're looking for something that was heavy like Extremist was, you're going to be sorely disappointed. If you're looking for something with good, clean singing and good musicianship, because their music's always pretty well put together, yeah, I'd say this is a good album. If you already like Demon Hunter, you probably already have this, and you probably already formed your own opinion. If you don't, well, I mean, this album might not change your mind, but it might. I mean, if you're looking for something melodic, I would give this album a shot. If you're into, like, Disturbed or Slipknot, maybe, you might like this album. It's a little bit more melodic than that. I recommend you take a look at it. If you're looking for something more akin to their old albums, you're not going to find it here. So, that's Adamsaurus, and this has been a review of Outlive by Demon Hunter. Have a great night, everybody.